Question is, am I going to get all this stuff in the dinghy? Okay, so this is the story of us sailing to Amsterdam and then on into the IJsselmeer. I keep my boat here in the River Blackwater. So we sailed up to Harwich, and then after a few hours rest we jumped off from Harwich, going above the East Anglia One wind farm, crossing over the channel, and then heading into IJmuiden, and then through the canals to Amsterdam. Spent the night in IJmuiden and another night in Amsterdam, and then we're into the canals. So we've made the trip from the Blackwater to Shotley Marina, Harwich, many times, and basically spent the morning. It's about a 5 or 6 hour trip, so that was fairly non-eventful. The tricky bit was when to leave Harwich, because there are a number of factors to consider. We wanted to have a favourable tide pushing us up to get past the East Anglia wind farm, and then ideally some daylight crossing some of these shipping lanes, these TSS's, and ideally arriving in daylight as well. Although at the end of the day, this big marina here is very easy to get into day or night. So if we overshot a little bit, if the journey took a bit longer than expected, then so be it. But the main thing, it's about a 28-hour trip, and the goal was to obviously not have it turn into a 30-plus hour trip, because there was only 2 of us on board. it's hard to describe the feeling of sailing into a stormy night with lots of wind and a bumpy ride, but it all went well, the planning went well, and the boat looked after us. So we were glad to get into Seaport Marina and had a good night's sleep, and were ready to head into the North Sea Canal and on to Amsterdam. So after a nice rest, the plan was to enter the canal proper and head for Amsterdam. So the first thing to do was to go through the South Lock. We hadn't even done passports yet. So what you do is you go through this South Lock, which is VHF Tunnel 22. Then you moor up on the pontoons here and you walk. It's about a 15-minute walk to the DFDS 24-hour passport control. Get your passport stamped, and then where you go.
I'm outside the bubble, some spark, golden brown. When I
This is Amsterdam Marina, which we're not currently planning to go into. So this is Central Station, where all the ferries come in and out of to get people into Amsterdam.
I touch the light on surface and unity with other
Yeah, I guess that's the entrance there. So it took us about 2 hours after we'd gone through South Lock to motor along at about 6 knots to get into Amsterdam. And we didn't want to go to Amsterdam Marina or Sixhaven. Heard Sixhaven can get very, very congested at peak season. And what we wanted was this little Aulus Marina, which was recommended as a nice little sleepy marina if you can get a berth. And that's just after Sixhaven.
When I rise, you smile. When I smile, you chirp. Inside the bubble, I feel so good with you inside.
So having put Hawkeye to bed in this lovely sleepy little marina, it was time to unfold our folding bikes and make our way to the free ferry. So this was less than 10-minute cycle, just fantastic way to get around Amsterdam. And I think we basically took this route here and then rolled straight onto this ferry and then over the river, over the canal, and we get off here at the station complex and we are in the bustle of Amsterdam.
Wake up, my legs are still shaking. Going round my head, how we just met. Make me some breakfast now. Honey on my bread, the sweetest kiss we shared. Oh, hazy weekend, what a waste of time. Hazy weekend.
So after a fun, if somewhat undocumented, night out in Amsterdam and a lovely night's sleep in Aulus Marina, it was time to get going. We left about 11:30, leaving the marina here and then following the channel. There is a lock you have to go through, the Oranjesluisen lock, and then that is followed by a lifting bridge. So the recreational route is on the north side of the Oranjesluisen lock. And after the lock, there is it's not that clear, it's a lifting bridge, and it opens at 22 and 20 past, and you just go for it basically. There's no VHF communication to speak of here. Once through, that's the end of the complicated bits. It's all pretty clear. You just follow the buoys, keep out of the way of the big ships, and our plan was to make our way to Brookhaven, which is just below Enclusion Lock. So that's here. We did think about going to Horn, which we heard lots of nice things about from other people, but weed gets blown into this bay area, and I'm not talking about the stuff you buy in cafes. This weed is so difficult, it can bind your prop so badly it can break your prop shaft apparently, so we didn't fancy that, and instead carried straight up northwards to Brookhaven here. Okay, bye-bye Amsterdam. Hello IJmuir, and then IJsselmeer. That's Durgadam in there, which apparently is a very nice chilled out place. We could have stayed there instead of at Marina Aluis, and that would have been a 45-minute cycle ride, I think. As it was, we were happy where we were. Becalmed in the IJmuir. Okay, so today's adventure is first of all to get out of Brookhaven and then straight away go through this big lock here. So this is the Islemere Dam here. So you come out of Brookhaven and then you go through this east lock. This is the leisure boats lock here. And it can get quite shallow, so stay inside the mooring, the navigation buoys. And then once through, the plan was to sail to Denuve, with the aim of maybe sailing to Texel the next day and then heading homeward bound down the coast on the seaward side. Spoiler alert, we never made it to Texel, but today's mission was to get to Denuve.